Mazda's so proud of their little 3, they put their name on it twice. But I found a few things inside that no car maker should be real proud of. Let's drive the 2012 Mazda 3 Grand Touring 5-door and check the tech. Now, I applaud Mazda for putting a nav rig in this car at all, but I don't applaud them for what they put in the car once they did that. That thing up there. No, it's not a postage stamp. That's a navigation unit. They call it, appropriately, compact navigation. Thanks for the help on that one. Your interface is almost nil. It's not a touchscreen, obviously. You need a broom handle to get there anyway. Voice command doesn't operate the thing. That's just for Bluetooth hands-free calling. Instead, you use this little rocker. You go up and down, you push on it, and you go left and right. And that's how you enter an address. It looks like this. You set your destination, press again to do that, press again for address. Now to enter a city name, here's where the fun begins. What the hell is that? I gotta chase around this sort of square Z-looking thing to find my letters and numbers. Oh, and this thing all blanks out when the car is on the move. So you can't even do this, if you even wanted to, when the car is moving. But without voice command, I'll be pulling over to do that. No, actually, I'll be pulling over to do this. And that's the kind of compact navigation I want in a Mazda 3. Now, onto the entertainment system. On this trim level, we've got a Bose audio system, 256 watts, 10 speakers, a powered sub, a center point to move the sound stage around, all decent sounding stuff. Sources are pretty good, AM and FM, but no HD and therefore no iTunes tagging. You've got a CD slot right here, no DVD, because where would you watch it on that thing? Satellite radio, 4 months are included. Aux gets you to 2 things. You can go to the aux jack for analog input or Bluetooth streaming audio. Do you see anything missing? Right. No iPod or iPod USB jack. That's crazy. Now on this trim level, which is kind of the middle of the 3 5-door base levels, you have a 6-speed automatic only as part of the SkyActiv powertrain. If you go higher or lower, you end up getting the choice of a 6-speed manual, but not on this guy. Now let's go see what feeds it. Now the engine in this Mazda 3 is the SkyActiv engine, a 2-liter inline 4. There's also a non-SkyActiv engine in the mix as well, but this is the interesting motor, but it's complicated. SkyActiv isn't 1 or 2 technologies, it's a whole bunch of technologies in one place. Starting off with high compression. Most cars are maybe a 10-to-1 compression ratio. This is a 13-to-1, says Mazda, and that gets you up to like 180 plus PSI per cylinder. The point is, you get a lot more of the energy captured from each dose of fuel. Most cars only get about 30% of the energy out of a sip of gas. This one does about 15% better. Hemispherical combustion chambers, so yes, it's a Hemi, but no, don't go drag racing any Dodge Challengers. And it's got headers, which is kind of a hot rod trick. 4 into 2 into 1. All that to keep those high compression cylinders from backing exhaust into each other. All in, they say this has 15% better power and 15% better MPG. The numbers, 155 horsepower, 148 foot-pounds of torque. Gets this slightly sub 3,000-pound car to 60 in about 9.5. Not exciting, but again, it's all about efficiency here. And that's where this guy kind of rocks. 2840 MPG with the automatic. You shave 1 MPG on the highway if you get the manual. That's the price of fun. And finally, Mazda took out 30% of the friction and drag in the engine. Again, not really sexy stuff, but it's important. Underway, this guy is underwhelming. Not in a bad way, not in a fatal way, but this is a car that is as more or less gutless as it seems on paper. There's an efficiency thing going on here, not a power thing, and that's fine. If this had a turbocharger on top of all of its other technologies, I'd expect green with mean, but it's mostly just green. As you may have noticed, we've got a slapstick, shiftable gate on this transmission, pretty garden variety stuff, no paddles, and that makes sense. The ride is not overly firm, but the car makes it seem that way because there are a few clicks and rattles here and there I'm hearing from the back. It's just this side of civilized. I don't like the engine note either. It's got a real four-cylinder sound to it, which a lot of fours don't have anymore, but this one does. In all, this is typically Mazda, at least on their lower-end cars. It's a very visceral car, which doesn't mean it's overpowering, but you get the feeling that you can hear and feel every system at work. Not my favorite idea when those systems don't sound or feel real good. But again, it's not a bad car, it's just not one that pleases me on a sensory front. But here's what you should take note of. Look at that display right there. That's across 235 miles of mixed driving. There's a real-world average calculated out to almost 26 mpg. That's real economy. All right, this 2012 Mazda 3 5-door in the Grand Touring trim, more or less top of the stack, is about $23,500 delivered. I would spend the $1,400 for the tech package, that odd basket of kind of unrelated stuff, but they're all pretty good and a good value at $1,400. Unfortunately, you can't pry the nav out. It's part of this trim level. Although with a crowbar you could, and I think I would do that.